Hi, I'm Michelle Gussow, and this is something straight out of my mind. Hi, so this is my first book of humor. This is called If Two Trains Are Traveling in Opposite Directions, I Don't Care What the Apples Cost. And one of the stories I tell in here has to do with attending Hebrew school, which I guess every Jewish child did in one fashion or another. And it's changed up a bit since I attended. I went, first of all, to a building called the JEA. At the time, it was the Jewish Educational Association. I forget what year it became the BJE, which was the Bureau of Jewish Education. And actually, more recently, it closed down altogether. They're using the building for something. I'm across the street, and I really don't know what they're using it for. If you are in Indianapolis and you happen to know, drop a line in the comments and let me in on it. But back in the day, I attending the JEA, the emphasis to me with Hebrew school was the word school. It was a lot like school, just they took attendance, you were graded, you got homework, you had tests. It wasn't a particularly fun atmosphere unless you loved school. And so, you come home from regular school, drop your books, pick up a new set of books, and go off to another school. And what was interesting is the program they taught with was a program called Habet U'Shma. And it had a reel-to-reel tape that played and a film strip that you watched with it. And yeah, film strips. Okay, that dates me too as well. Do they even have film strips, film strip projectors anymore? And so what happened, you'd watch the film strip and what you heard on the tape went along with it, and there'd be a boop, and the teacher would click a little thing and the next image in the film strip would come up. And what was interesting is you had to memorize this. I mean, that was an interesting thing. They would play it, and then the reel-to-reel tape recorder would go off, and the teacher would put it up there and call on you, and you'd have to recite whatever the image was. So you literally to get to memorize this, and you had some practice time. I think the first time that they would introduce a new film strip, you didn't have to know it that day, but they liked it if you knew it the next day. And because of that, they encouraged, let's say, the parents to purchase this at-home practice course. And I was digging through some things, and well, see, anybody who had Habet U'Shma, see if you recognize this. We have the Sefer, which is the book, and this has been through the ringer. It used to be white. So now it's kind of a dingy, dirty gray, but still in pretty good condition. And it has the pictures that you would have seen on the film strip. No writing under there to help you cheat with it. And we have the Taklitim. Now these are the records, so that you didn't have to have a reel-to-reel player at home. You can see this is a full set here. Units 1 to 20. These, they're all there. And you were, I'm going to use the word encouraged again, you were encouraged to go home and spend however much time listening to the record and following along in the book, and learning to memorize the, as they call it, the situatia, the situations, the scenarios. And so the first unit, where we were a minute ago, this was lesson 1, and then this was the lesson 1 supplement. And you can get a look here. You had, so the first lesson we were being introduced to the Doron family, and the subsequent lessons were their adventures. But you can see started here with the mother. Now, in all these frames, you see there, it's hard to see, but there's a hand. And my father always affectionately called that thing. If you've watched The Addams Family, you'll get that reference. But the hand represented the narrator. And so like this first frame, the narrator was saying, "At geweret Daron," which is, "Are you Mrs. Daron?" And she answered, and there was a female voice on there, Ken, Ani Rivka Daron. Yes, I'm Rivka Daron. And you meet the whole family. This is David Daron, Don Daron, Ruth Daron. And you learn to say family, which he named Mishpachat Daron. And then all the subsequent, like I said, all the subsequent lessons involve finding where they live. It was an interesting program, and I found that even people who didn't have the program, if they had siblings that had it, at least had some of this stuff memorized along with them. I mean, my sister, who by the time she got to Hebrew school, they were doing a different program, and she could recite that first lesson. So I think that was great. Everybody knows the Daron family in the community. Did you take Habet U'Shma? Did you have a different program? Did you have one you like better? Let me know in the comments. It's just a lot of fun to look back on these things, and I'll get back to you next time I got something out of my mind. See you then.